All right, part 2 of my testimony of how God has used surrender to teach me and bless me and do so many things in my life. So I ended part 1 when I talked about how I finally surrendered the broken pieces of my heart and my life really to God, and He gave me love and freedom from striving. It was so transforming and life-changing for me, and so things changed quite a bit after that. So a few years after that moment where God brought the fact that I was lovable from my mind into my heart. A few years later, I turned 30 and I went through my first midlife crisis. I felt really discouraged and disappointed with where I was in my life at that point. I was single and I could not afford to live on my own. I was renting a room from a family at my church. And I was just really, really lonely and really sad and depressed and just struggling through to try and figure out what was going on with my life and what was next. And I just remember sitting in my room at my friend's house, sitting on my bed and just crying and saying, God, what is going on? Why don't I have a husband? Can't I afford a place of my own or have a family or something? It just all seemed like an impossible dream to me. And I just, man, I knew like finding a husband and starting a family was something that was somewhat out of my control, but I thought I should be able to find a place to live on my own. I just really wanted God to give me a place to live on my own. And I remember there was a really powerful worship time that I had with God. During that time, the album A Collision by David Crowder Band had come out, and so many of the songs on that album really spoke to my heart and where I was at that point in what I was struggling with. And one song in particular really hit me. It was called Come Awake, or it is called Come Awake. It's a good song. And in the chorus, it says, come awake from sleep, arise. You were dead, become alive. Wake up, open your eyes. Climb from the grave into the light. And this song just like God used to just hit my heart into action. I like to have a plan, and without a plan, I'm afraid to move forward into the unknown. But this song, God just used it to say, look, we can do this. Let's step out and into something completely different. And so I said, all right, I can do this. I can make a change without knowing exactly how it's all going to work out. So I quit my job at the church in San Jose and I moved myself down to San Diego, which was my dream. I wanted to live in San Diego. I love it there. I loved it ever since I was in college. And I thought, okay, that's it. It's time for a change. This is my plan. This is what we're going to do. So I moved to San Diego, stayed with some friends, or with my good friend. And for about 6 months, I could not find a job. I tried and I just couldn't. And God brought me into this time of healing and working on my heart and just doing some stuff, helping me with that process that had started working on and removing that perfectionism and restoring my mindset. But it was really just a time of him just holding me close and comforting me. And so I remember one day I was looking online for a job and I came across an opportunity to teach English in China. And I immediately closed the page and was like, nope, I don't want to do that. No. I had taught English in China for a summer when I was in college. And when I got back that summer, I felt like God just put it in my heart. One day you're going to go live in China for a little bit. And I thought, okay, sure. And it had been 10 years and I was thinking, yeah, I'm okay with living in China, but just not yet. I don't want to go back yet. I had just moved to San Diego. I was really just feeling like pursuing my dream life. I was getting involved in a church that I really liked, and living near the beach, which was awesome, and getting to go there all the time. And there was lots of cute guys. And I was like, I want a husband. How am I going to find a husband if I go to China? So I stayed up all night just arguing with God. I said, I have debts. I owe money, I have bills. How can I pay my bills? I'm not going to earn very much money in China. Like, there's just so many obstacles. My passport was expired. Like, I had a lot of stuff to overcome. And finally, the next morning, I said, okay, God, fine. I'm going to go to China. I will choose to go to China. You're just going to have to help me figure it out. And 1 month later, I was in China. And it was really cool because, there's nothing like leaving your comfort, your home, your country, and going to a place that's so completely foreign with a bunch of people you do not know to give you that fresh start that you need sometimes to restore your mind. And he really, really started working on my heart and my mind with grace and letting go of that perfectionism and that self-criticism that I had, where I just tried to make myself feel perfect, and I got to just experience joy and his love. And Joy is my middle name, and I always thought that was kind of an ironic middle name because I was kind of a negative kid, negative person in general. Actually, I am like a glass half empty kind of person where I just see the negative. I'm always waiting for the negative to happen. And so I thought, wow, this is kind of a silly middle name for me to have, but God just restored my joy in such a huge way while I was in China. And one of my favorite examples of that is when I arrived in China, they were getting ready for the Olympics to be there the next year, and they had these really cute Olympic mascots, and I loved them. They were everywhere. And so when we got to the university where we were teaching, they handed me the keys to my apartment, my own apartment. I finally got a place of my own. Not exactly how I expected that to happen, but God, it was faithful and answered my prayer and gave me my own little apartment in this dorm filled with people who were just amazing and awesome. And I opened the door to my apartment, and there was some amazing thing. There was these 3 murals, and the first mural was a picture of these mascots. They're called Fuwa, and they were so cute, and it was pink and blue and had polka dots. It was like perfect. I loved it. And then I went in the bedroom, and then there was a mural of the album cover of the David Crowder Band, A Collision album, the one that had that song Come Awake on it. And I was like, whoa, okay, wow. And then I looked over, and there was a third mural, and it was 2 little foxes, and there was a note under the foxes that said that they mate for life, and a little thing about marriage. And I was like, oh, I'm never getting married, but okay, whatever. So I thought, this is crazy. These murals are awesome. This can't be my room. So I went back downstairs, and I said to the found a leader, and I said, like, this room can't belong to me. There are these murals, and they're really awesome. It must belong to someone else. And they said, no, that's for you. The person who lived there last year, her fiance had those painted for her, and then they got married, and they live in the married housing now. And so that room is for you. And I just knew, like, that they were painted for her, but God had those there for me. They were so specific, and I'm super detail oriented, and I appreciate God's attention to detail and how he showed me his love, and just so much joy. And God brought me my husband. I had to wait till he grew up and was old enough because he's younger than me. And we met there in China, and we became friends, and then eventually we got together, and we were there, got married halfway through our second year, and we're in China 3 years together. So I thought that my dream was to live in Southern California. I thought that was the hope I had for my life, but I surrendered that dream. I said, fine, God, I'm going to follow your dream, your plan, this new dream. And he just completely changed my perspective and my dreams, and he restored joy. So in surrendering my dream to God, I found so much joy and so much blessing and just more of that love, and my mind was transformed even more. And so it was the most incredible 3 years of my life, and I'm so thankful for my husband, who's from Nebraska, and I never would have found him if I had just stayed in California and San Diego. And I'm just so thankful for God pushing me, encouraging me to let go of the dream I thought was what was best for me, and choosing to follow after his plan for me. That surrender was totally worth it and awesome. So that's part 2. Stay tuned for part 3.